Today, we're going to talk about building your brand without breaking your bank. Just to give you a little bit of my background and history, a lot of times when I talk to people, because I have a very different accent, they'll be wondering where I'm from. And then when I tell them I'm from Singapore, they either give me the response of, is that somewhere in China or, So I like to use a world map. So Singapore is a tiny dot right under the country of Malaysia. You can hardly see it in a world map. And so we are often described as the red dot on the map. And I flew over to Oklahoma City, of all places, like a lot of my friends in Singapore was wondering, about 23 years ago. And I've lived here since. I still fly back every year. But that's where I'm from. That explains my accent. And there you go. So let's warm up for this session and do a quick test of whether you are brand savvy. I'm going to show you a series of images, and you can shout the brand out to me if you recognize those images, all right?
Adidas.
All right, no prize. That's loud enough. Yes, please. Okay, that's right. That's Adidas. Next.
Levi's.
Ah, good. Quick. Next one.
Amazon.
All right, Amazon. That's right. This one.
Disney. Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. That's right. When we talk about brand, oftentimes people think about logo. And there are some power to visual brand, aka logo. However, logo does not exist on its own. And therefore, when you think about brand, it needs to be more than just your visual element of your company, of your organization, or even of yourself. And this is how I like to help people understand what truly brand is. Think of a brand, think of your business, think of your organization, even think of yourself like a tree. And like all trees, we know we have both a visible and an invisible aspect of a tree. When we talk about trees, we also talk about tree providing shade and fruits. And the invisible aspect of the tree, we're talking about the soil and the root system. How does this have anything to do with what a brand is? When we talk about logo, it's really just probably a leaf on that tree, because all these other elements, from your products to your services to the building that you're in or your office space, the advertisement that you pay in papers and magazines, your processes, website colors and graphics, all collectively form the visible aspect of a brand. And as a business or organization, your goal is to ensure your shade is desirable and your fruits are delicious, so that people will come and be willing to part with their money to pay for those products and or services. How do you ensure that your shade and your fruits are worth paying money for? We need to have fertile soil and healthy roots. And oftentimes, a lot of organization and or business fail to recognize how important the invisible aspect of your brand is. So I'm hoping in this short session, we can at least start thinking about what that means to you. So, as I mentioned, desirable shades and delicious fruits can come in the form of many components of your business. And the fertile soil and healthy roots are essentially what I call your purpose, your values, your mission, and your purpose, and your vision. I drew something right there in this image because if you are a founder or owner of your business and organization, the brand of this business comes from you. It should embody your personal purpose, values, vision, and mission. So brand is very much a two-sided thing where your personality, what you value, should come across in the organization or company that you are leading and managing. So let's look into the definition of a brand. I like to use this definition where a brand is what and how people remember about you and your company. A brand is what and how people remember about you and your company. We know this guy behind Amazon, and he had this statement to say about your brand. Your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. I mean, consumer loves to complain, right? They will complain more than they compliment. And therefore, what they remember about you and your business, if it's negative, they're more likely to be vocal about it. So you need to protect that. You need to help them understand who you truly are beyond your product and your business. So I have been in this line of work for 20 years now, and I started off as a self-taught graphic designer. And oftentimes people will approach me to design stuff. And I realized that I can make you look pretty all day long. Now, especially in this day and age where we have a lot of software and technology, you can even get AI to make you look pretty. I don't care about that first. I want to make sure you matter before I can make you look pretty. And that's the basis of what I call the brand system that I have developed, and I have continued to, I guess, nurture it. So let's start with this exercise. Can you read this?
Whole paragraph.
Right. I mean, a bit challenging, but you can still read it. And the key point is here. If the first and the last letters are in the right place, our brain naturally can figure out the correct word in the context of the whole paragraph. That gives birth to the brand system. I broke up the word brand, into 5 key questions that all of us can be asking to figure out what truly we are as a brand. We're going to touch on B and D primarily today. So let's look at the B and the D. B is our business for assistance, and D is our drive for excellence. All right? And those, we will talk about those questions in a bit. All of us, whether we are consumer, whether we are owner of a business, a manager, someone who is working in a company, volunteers, donors, if you are a nonprofit circle, want to be part of a bigger picture. Knowing your B and knowing your D helps people see that big picture and know that they are part of something bigger than just benefiting from a product or selling a service. This is the first question that I like to ask. What are you in the business of selling? All of us, whether we own a company or not, are selling something. Individually, we're selling something. Let's imagine we all own a mattress company. To answer that question, what are we in the business of selling? Are we in a business of selling a good mattress? Or are we in the business of selling a good night's sleep? Our answer to this question will help us make a lot of operational and marketing decisions. So if you do own a business right now, be thinking about what your good mattress is and what your good night's sleep is. I'm not saying one is better than the other. In fact, you better have a good mattress to be selling, because there will always be another company that can come up with a cheaper or better mattress to beat you out of the market. However, if you understand what your good night's sleep is, can be a very powerful thing, because you're tapping into the emotional needs of the consumer that you're trying to reach. This applies to your employees also. What is the good night's sleep for your employees? Is it just a paycheck? Are you just there because they can get a paycheck out of you? If you can get them to believe in a bigger picture beyond a paycheck, your retention of employee will be higher. And as we all know, it's a lot more expensive to try to get new employees because of training and all that stuff. All right, so that's the B to the brand system. D is what drives you to excel. What drives you to excel as a business and also as an individual? I like to do a why exercise to answer that question, or to help the people understand the answer to the question. Let's go back to the mattress scenario. A good mattress, and we're putting on a hat of a consumer of a good mattress, okay? And you'll see where I'm getting at. A good mattress is important to me. Again, I'm the consumer because my current mattress is old and dirty, right? If we own a mattress company, most often than not, people walking in, they're looking for a new one to replace the old one. A new mattress is important to me because I want to sleep comfortably. A comfortable sleep is important to me because I need an uninterrupted sleep. An uninterrupted sleep is important to me because I need the energy to go to work the next day. And we can keep going. And going to work is important to me because I need to provide for my family. Where am I getting to with this? Now, all the reasons for wanting a good mattress can vary from consumer to consumer. This is just an example of a mindset of one typical consumer. Be thinking about who you're selling to and go through those questions. Say if you are selling real estate, you can ask, why is a new home important to you? And then you answer, maybe a new home will provide roof over my head. Why is a roof over your head important to you? And you keep going. With those answers, which can vary from consumer to consumer, you can derive a set of values that are driven by those consumers. So when you're selling your products and or services, you need to figure out how you resonate with those values. Someone may resonate very well with needing a clean mattress, and therefore in your marketing decision, you talk about how a new mattress has no germs and whatnot, and that will appeal to that kind of customer. However, can you tell that sometimes if you go down the line of questioning, someone that walks into your mattress value loving their family? Can you imagine buying a new mattress can be translated to valuing family? So if you pay attention to some companies, some of their marketing messages are almost not, you don't think it's relevant, but if you dig deeper, it makes a lot of sense. So apply this line of questioning to your own business and organization with different people, from employees to consumer. Case study is the best way to kind of explain this concept. I did not talk about the R, the A, and the N in the brand system. R, as you might have gotten here, is reach. Who are you trying to reach, right? It is important to know who are you trying to sell this good mattress to? Who are you trying to sell this good night's sleep to? A is how do you act every day? How do you act based on knowing your business for assistance and your drive for excellence? And the following case studies, I'm going to use them to explain how B and the D affects the A. Oteka is a client of mine. Oteka is in the business of elevating individuals with severe cognitive disability. That is their good night's sleep. They happen to be selling curriculum and assessment that help the teacher to assess where that particular student is. That's their good mattress. They're driven by empathy, empowerment, and progress. Now, having the B&D set in place, this is how it affects their action every day. One of their processes is whenever they are able to engage a school system, they will personally make it to the classroom of that special ed teacher to understand the setup, to even interact with the students the teacher have in that classroom. Why? Because they want to empathize with what is going on in a real environment of their customers. They don't assume their product, or AKA good mattress, will work seamlessly in different environments. And therefore, they know what drives them, therefore it affects their action. So this is one simple case study of how knowing B and D affects their A. The other one is Trader Joe, which I like to use a lot. Who has been to Trader Joe here? We all know how Trader Joe is. In fact, The reason why I know some of their behind-the-scenes stuff is I have worked in Trader Joe for about 4 years. Because the moment I stepped into Trader Joe for the very first time back in 2016, I was so intrigued by this grocery store that I say in order for me to know what makes them tick is to become a crew member. So I got behind the scene, I worked like a regular job, cashier, shelving products on their shelves, talking to customer, and I gained so much insight about how they know what their B&D is and it affects their action. So Trader Joe is in the business of providing an in-store culinary and shopping experience. Their good mattress is products from almost everywhere in the world. But this is their good night's sleep. It's talking about experience. They are driven, one of their value, okay? They're driven by wowing customer in the store. That's literally how they phrase it. Now, they don't stop there. They actually define what it means to wow a customer. This is how knowing their B and a D will affect how they act every day. Grocery store, we know it. We see it on almost every corner of the street that we're on. One of the action or one of the things that they are known for is they only provide in-store shopping. You can never buy Trader Joe stuff from Trader Joe online. That's their business model. They will never sell anything online. Those things that you see on Amazon or sometimes on eBay are sold by consumers like us who have access to Trader Joe, buy a bunch of the stuff, and then sell it at a higher price. Now, we all know COVID, right? When COVID happened, what happens? Amazon started, with Whole Foods to sell stuff online. They offer home delivery. They offer curbside picked up. I was with Trader Joe at that time, and we're wondering, is Trader Joe going to go that route just because they have to limit the number of walk-ins or even close the store? Did they do it? They did not. Because they know they are in the business of providing an in-store culinary experience. And they are driven by wowing customer in the store. You would think this is a business suicide by not offering anything online. They have been making profit like crazy. There are companies or grocery stores, bigger chains like Kroger, I heard, on the West Coast, they have to shut down their stores because on the West Coast, the government requires them to increase the hourly rate of their staff on the West Coast. And Kroger decided, no, we cannot afford it. I'm going to close down stores, and people lost their job. Trader Joe not only increased the hourly rate of all their crew members on the West Coast, they did it across the whole country, despite not going online at all. And when I was there working, people will line up outside the store. One of our action as crew member, because we're driven by wowing customers, right? We are not just standing there to count people coming in and going out. We interacted with every single one in that line. And I would hear customers saying, this is the best day today. Just standing in line in the cold. So this is just a glimpse of how, if we know our B and our D, it really doesn't matter what goes in between. We recognize what the brand of that business is. And the N in the brand system is niche. And oftentimes we think of niche as the unique product or service that we're selling that no one can duplicate. But how often does that happen? It doesn't really, because if you do have an original product, someone's going to imitate it and do it better or do it cheaper. So as we think about our niche, it needs to go beyond the good mattress. Our niche needs to be that good night's sleep, or how you rally people around you, from customer to employees, to act like a brand advocate. Not just there to earn a paycheck, not just there to spend money for products and our services. So this is, again, just a glimpse of today's session about building your brand. I alluded to the fact that if you are a business owner, leader, founder, or a manager, this is where the brand system will apply both in the context of your personal brand and in the context of your business brand. These questions are almost the same, but just put in a different context. It is all about brand alignment. What is your ultimate business in life should be aligned with what are you in the business of selling. If not, you'll be in constant conflict. If what drives me to stay on track is relationship, with people. But if I work for a company that is so profit-driven that they don't care how many hours you clock, they just care about you making money, then what drives you are, in opposition to each other, you'll be miserable. So when it comes to brand, it's about understanding how your personal brand should actually be the flip side of your business brand if you're part of an organization, a company, so on and so forth. All right? If you're interested in getting the ebook that will flesh it out and they have all those questions, you can scan the QR code and you can buy this for a lower price than to buy on Amazon.com. Again, I teach this method in different span of time. I just finished like a 2-session workshop recently, and this is like 1/3 of what I go through because we only have an hour or two. But my point is this. If we don't have the money to hire agencies, there are value in hiring marketing agency because they will walk through a lot more with you, but they are expensive. But as business owner, as someone that is leading an organization, you really don't need to break your bank because there are certain things that you can do on your own if you put some time and effort to it, some brain power into it, understanding who you're reaching. You can develop a pretty solid brand that you believe in and that you can inspire and motivate people to join you on this journey.